Hello guys, it's Shrimp Time here, and today we're gonna have another very interesting topic, which is inspired by many questions I get due to the fact that I run this channel, run my online shop. A lot of people ask me what shrimp food should you buy when you are starting shrimp tank. What is the best shrimp food for this freshly started shrimp tank? Before I start this topic, I will talk about the main informations about shrimp feeding. You can write me a comment, by the way, how do you like my close-ups and my macro, and if you want more close-ups of this quality. Okay, and another thing, another little commercial of myself. You can support me on Patreon if you like. You got the link in the description of the channel. I would be very grateful. It would help me make more English content. But now back to the topic. Before I answer the question, what is the best food for newly started shrimp tank, we have to have some basic knowledge about shrimp feeding. Shrimps are this type of organism that feeds all the time. The healthy shrimp will look for the food in your tank and feed all the time. It's because their digestive isn't so good. They cannot keep the food they eat for later. They digest all the time and they use the energy and the sources they got from the food at the time they eat. And this is why there is the first and most important rule about choosing the shrimp food. You shouldn't think about the main source of the food. Will it be the Benibachi, Shrimp King, or any different brand, Loki's, etc. The first and most important thing is not to overfeed the shrimp and feed them quite often. In my breeding tanks, I feed my shrimps twice a day. A lot of you will hear that is too much. You shouldn't feed the shrimps that much. It's not true. You have to remember that when you feed your shrimps, they will eat as much of the food as they can at the start, and afterwards they will look for other food, and they will leave the feed that you drop to them. So the most important rule is to feed a little that shrimps can eat in about 1 hour. There are different types of food. There are mineral foods, there are protein foods, there are foods for coloration. But for you, at the start, the most important thing is that shrimp will get the best value food that is available for them. And it isn't high animal protein food. It isn't. There were researches made in the past that shown that animal protein food shows worse results than high protein plant food based on the algae. And it's quite logical because the shrimps mainly eat algae and biofilm, which is made from bacteria and which is made from fungus. So you have to remember that the animal food, animal source food, isn't quite natural food for the shrimps. Yes, they will eat it from time to time in their natural habitat, but they mainly eat algae and biofilm. So the diet of shrimps should be built on algae and biofilm. And this is the first and most important rule. The second quite important thing to remember is that you can provide all the shrimp needs in your tank at the beginning, because when you start the tank, you start to age it. You develop the biofilm, the nitrification bacteria, the decomposing bacteria, some algae shows up in the tank, and there are no predators that will feed on that biofilm, on that micro life that you will get in your tank. So when you start the tank, you got well-aged tank, started with all the rules that says how to start the tank, how to age it proper. Then all the food you need for the starting pack of shrimps, for example 10, 15 shrimps that usually are quite young shrimps that got 1 centimeter, 2 or 3 months, all the food they need, it's in your tank. And if you put them in your tank and they will feed on the food you support to them in the tank, they will ignore the artificial made food and they will focus on the feed that they get in the tank, because it's better for them. It's got all the components that shrimps need to live. And this is why when some of my customers buy shrimp food, and some shrimps, they tell me, you know, I bought those shrimps and I bought this food and it's supposed to be a good food, but the shrimps ignore it. So I decided to buy another food, which is also a good food, and shrimps ignore it as well. What is happening? If your parameters are good in the tank and you have no problem with them, it means that you achieved the goal you tried to achieve during that month or 2 months of aging tank. You provided all the food source the shrimp needs in your tank, and you do not have to feed those shrimps with artificial made food at the beginning. And why is that? What is the reason that you will have to transform your approach to the shrimp due to the time? Because at the beginning you got small shrimps in small amounts, so before the shrimps eats all the food in the tank, the biofilm will regenerate, will develop again, and shrimps will not be that fast in eating this biofilm. So the tank will be able to support the shrimps with all the food they need. But after a while, when you will get new shrimps, newborn, they will grow, the shrimps will outcompete the biofilm in the tank. They will eat more than the tank can provide to them. And in that spot is when you have to start feeding. In that spot is the time you know that your tank isn't capable of providing enough food source for the shrimps. And after that, you have to start to feed your shrimps. But it will be after a few months from starting the tank. So you do not have to waste your money on food that shrimps won't eat. You can invest it in other type of shrimps, in another tank, or leave it in your pocket for a coffee in a Starbucks. And this is not a commercial. And the matter of fact, I don't like Starbucks so much. Okay, so for me, the best at the start, when you start your shrimp tank, the best food for the shrimp is it's no food. Don't buy any food for them at the start. You can make more problems with that both food. If you overfeed, if you let the food overstay in your tank, you will destroy the water parameters. The tank is quite young, so it can have problems with handling that water parameters. So for me, at the beginning, don't feed. Let your shrimp pack develop, let them grow, let them breed, and when you will drop the food in your tank, if you got more shrimps, they start to attack this food, fight for this food. That means it's a time to start feeding and time to transition your approach, to transfer your approach to a proper diet for the shrimps. Okay, I think that this will be all about this topic. I would like to thank you for listening to this video. If you like it, leave a thumb up, and we'll hear in another movie. See you again.